So this is the Visual Studio Code environment. So we are in a folder named Python example. So there are no files yet on the left hand side. So let's create a file. So we can create a new file using this new file option. We click on this. It's asking us to name it. So we'll just write as temp.py. So Python files are generally saved with .py extension at the end. So it opens the file here. Now, apart from the file, we also need a terminal. So at the top, you can see there are several sections: file, edit, selection, view, go, run, terminal. So in this terminal, we'll open the new terminal. Yeah. So the default terminal here is PowerShell in Windows. I'm working in Windows right now. In Linux, it's the Linux terminal, and it's this. And you can change these terminals also. There are several custom terminals. So let's say you are working in Windows, but you are experienced with Linux based terminal. So there's a terminal known as git bash, which has all the commands as there are in Linux. There are several other terminals also, like command prompt, PowerShell. So I'll be using PowerShell. um, and uh, so here in terminal is generally used to run the files, and files on the top are generally used to edit or write a program. Yeah, so one more thing is let's how to comment in Python. So hash sign is used for commenting in Python. So this is a comment here. This is a comment number 2. And you can see there is a white dot at the top of the file name. This shows that the changes are not saved yet. So to save the changes, you can go to File and Save. You can also use a shortcut Control S. So I'll just use Control S right now, and the white dot disappears. Now we have no unsaved changes, and we can use this file. So that's that. Now there are two ways to use Python. You can um, just open the Python terminal by writing Python and um, okay. Okay, the spelling of the Python is wrong here. So in PowerShell, to clear the terminal, you use clear, enter, and the terminal clears up. So to open the Python terminal, you type Python and the terminal opens. Now, to print in Python, the function used is print, and let's say we want to print hello world. So it prints hello world. But this terminal, you can play around with this terminal. So let's say I want to print the addition 1 plus 2. It gives you 3 directly. So we can play around with this, how this terminal works. But the thing is, uh, we want to save our program. So we'll use now edit the files. Um, um, to exit this Python terminal, you just use exit function. You come back to the terminal and you use clear, and you clear the terminal. Now let's make changes to this file. Let's try to give some data, define some variables: a equal to 1, b equals to 2, and c equals a plus b. Okay, now we want to print it, so print c. Okay, now because there are unsaved changes, we'll save the changes. See, and now we'll run the file. So um, there are two ways to run the file. So one is this run Python file on the top right corner. You just click it and it will automatically run the file. So the output 3 is printed. All right. So basically C is equal to 3. Let's change the value of the one of the variable 4. Now let's run this file again. It gives 6. Okay, so it's running. Now let's clear it. The other way to run the file is using Python command. So Python temp.py will run the code itself. So you can use both the ways to run the files. I just use this click run Python file option. It's faster. I don't have to type anything. Yeah. Now there is one more shortcut to clear the terminal window is Control plus L. So let's say I write Python /temp.py. So clear command is very long. So one way is to clear is you type clear command and press enter. Other way is to just press Control plus L and it clears. Okay, so we are through with the print command. Let's try. So you can play around with this. So let's right now uh, let's try something. Give some information about this output. So addition of A and B. So you can print successive statement just by using a comma in print function, and let's run it, and you get addition of A and B is 6. Okay, so this is how print function works. Now it's very important to know that uh, there's something called data type in Python. So Python is uh, so here see let's see the um, data type of C. So data type of C, um, type C. So type function helps us identify the type of a variable. Let's save it, Control S, and then run this file. Yeah, so it gives data type of C is class int. So it's integer type. So types are really important in function. Is if you so for example, let's define a string. So string and E equals C plus D, and if we print E, I don't know what will happen. Let's see what happens. So it flashes an error that C and D are of two different data types, and the way you debug an error. So let's say you get this error and you don't know what the problem is. You can copy this error, go to Google, paste it there and search it, and you'll find several solutions online. So that's how people generally work on Python. Not everybody is super expert on Python, so generally they take the help of internet all the time. So yeah, so we'll remove this code, this piece of code. We understood how to print variables, what are data types. Now let's move to one of the data types, which is called list. Okay, so list is a array of different different variables. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now these are all of same. So all the elements of list are same or are of same data type, that is integer. We can also have lists with different data types. For example, one hello, it's a string data type. 2.3, it's a double or float data type, or and then word string data type again. Hello world. Okay, so these are lists. So let's try to print these lists. List and print list 2. Let's see the output. So I'll clear it, run the file again. So okay, so these two are from the previous piece of code. These two output, and here the lists are printed. Okay, so I'll just comment out this code. So let's say you have a huge line of a lot of lines you want to comment. You cannot go and do hash in each and every line. So this comments out, but you'll have to do it in each and every line uh, to prevent yourself from doing that. What you can do is go to right click on this and okay or what you can do is go to file or edit, I think, selection, view. Okay, so the way you comment is control plus slash. So it's a shorthand or shortcut for commenting out a piece of code. So you select the code, and for uncommenting also you can print control plus slash. It dot comments and then comments again. Okay, so I'll comment this thing and let's run this file again. So you get the printing of the lists. Now let's say I want to print a specific member of a list. So I'll comment this out and print list 2. Um, 0. So one thing to remember in Python is the indexing starts with 0 and not with 1. So in MATLAB, if someone works with MATLAB, the indexing starts with 1. So yeah, that's the difference. So let's run the file. Okay, it's an error. Okay, yeah. So the error I made is that I used these circular brackets and not square brackets. So circular brackets are for calling a function, and square brackets are for indexing. I mean, like referencing to one of the element of the list. Let's run it again. Now I get to print 1. So list 2 is 1. Let's print all of them. List 2, 1, list 2, 2, and print list 2. Save it. We clear it first and then we run the file. So yeah, so individual elements can be printed also. So this is the list. Now let's move on to some conditional statement. I'll comment this piece of code out, and so conditional statements are basically if else. Okay, so let's define a variable a equals 10, let's say, and if we write a is greater than 0, and so the way you write and operator is through the word and itself. Okay, so in Python, and is the and operator itself, and b, or sorry, a should be less than equal to 5. Okay, so yeah, so you can see that this is how we write the if statement. These are some conditional expressions separated by an and then colon. So here the if statement else, the condition of the if statement else with colon. And now if you press the enter, it comes with an indent. So in Python, indents are really important. So let's say I write here that a is between 0 and 5, let's say. Okay, so if I run this, nothing gets printed because a is not between 0 and 5. So if I put it 2, save it, and run it again, so yeah, it prints a is between 0 and 5. So now you can see there is an indent below if statement. So what if I remove this indent? So you can see there is an error. This red line shows an error, and if I save it and run it, it gives me an error. So in Python, indents are everything. In if someone has worked with um, in C++ before, there are curly brackets are used to define the area of scope, but here indentation is important and they have to be properly taken care of. So yeah, so I'll put back the intent. Let's write one more if statement. Let's write if if a is greater than 5 and a is less than 10, equals 10, then print a is between 5 and 10. Okay, so and let's change it to say 8. So now let's run it. So the second statement gets printed. So this is how conditional statements are used. Now let's see the use of else. So else there is no condition. You just end it with colon and you print a is greater than 10. Now let's make it 20. So this statement should print. Let's see. I'll clear it first. Now I'll run the file and a is greater than. So I think the spelling of greater is wrong. So yeah, the a is greater than 10. So that's what got printed. So this is how conditional statement work in Python. Now let's look at some loop statements. So loops are really important. So I'll comment this piece of code. So loops. Now there are several types. There are many loops. So we'll first start with while loop. So while I is less than 10, let's say, print iteration I. So what this loop will do is still I is less than, so it's showing some error. So I has not been initialized. So set I to 0 first. And yeah, so this way it prints I in each iteration. So let's run this. So iteration 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and it's an infinite loop. You can see it's not ending. So I used Control plus C to end this loop. Why is this a never-ending loop? Because I never gets updated and I is always 0. So this condition I is less than 10 is always true, and this loop will continue forever. So we'll have to have an update statement in while loop. So the way you update in Python is one way to update is like this. Another way to update, which mostly is used, is a shorthand notation of this is plus equal to 1. So this also updates I by 1. Now let's run the file. We clear it. Run the file. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. So please note, as soon as it is 10, because the condition is less than 10 and not less than equal to 10, this prints only till 9. Okay, so what if we want to break in middle? We don't want to go all the way to 6. So we can use break statement. So there is a break statement in Python. So let's use the conditional statement. If I equal to 6. So the equality comparison is done by equal to, same as C++. There's no difference. And break. So as soon as it comes to 6, this should break out of the loop. Let's see how it works. So yeah, so it clicks and then it breaks the loop and comes out. So this was while loop. Let's now see for loop. I'll comment this. Okay, no, so for loop. So this, what this statement does is it's a for loop in which the iterate is from I, and range 5 it automatically defines the values of I, like defines I to be a type integer, and it goes from 0 to 5. Let's say, so let's again print the same statement. I'll copy it from here. Print iteration I. Let's see what does it print. Run the file. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, so this statement defines I as integer, and the range is from 0 to 5. Okay, so these are how the loops work, and um, these are highly important. So both while and for loops are used extensively in Python. Uh, you know what? You can do several other things. Let's say, so you can do operations as well. So let's write adding 1 to I. So I plus 1. We saw this operation earlier. Print uh, subtracting 1 from I. Okay, so uh, I minus 1. Similarly, we can write it for multiplication and division. Uh, so multiplying 2 to I. So the multiplication is done by this asterisk sign, and division is done by uh, slash sign. So yeah, so it's dividing I by 2. So I by 2. So let's see what is the result. We'll keep it smaller till 3 only, so that and we comment this iteration out. So let's see what the results are. So yeah, so it's not looking very good because there is no separation between each iteration. So we'll add one more statement which helps separate the line. So for example, you can write print slash n. It will add an extra space or line between the two separate those consecutive iterations. So let's clear it and now run. Yeah, so you can see it is uh, now able to print properly. So from 0, 1, minus 1, 0, 0, 0.0, 0, 0.5, 1.0, etc. So it gives you the answers. Okay, so I forgot to put colon here and here. Let's run it once again. So yeah, so addition is 1, 2, 3, and subtraction minus 1, 0, 1. Uh, multiplying is 0, and division is gives you an answer in decimals also. Now these operations are fine. One operation that I want to talk about is the power operation. How do you raise mm, uh, of I? So how do you raise to the power of something? So the way you do it is it double asterisk. So I double asterisk 2 means I square in Python. Okay, we'll do it for all 5 of them. Let's see what the results are. Yeah, so you can see they are all raised to the power 2. So this is how you raise to the power something in Python. Okay, so yeah, these are loops. You can play around with them. Now let's move to what are functions. Okay, so functions are really important aspects of the Python. So functions, you can assume them as units of program which can be used repeatedly in a bigger program. So yeah, functions are really important. So the way you define functions in Python is you start with def, then the name of the function. Let's say add two numbers. Okay, then you have the argument, basically the numbers you enter. So let's say a and b, two variables, and then there's a return statement. You can have return statement, or you may not have return statement in Python. It's not necessary. So here a and b are local variables of this function. They do not exist outside at two numbers. Uh, yeah, so this is how a function is defined. Now let's use this function. So let's say I say C equals add, so add two numbers. So as you can see in Visual Studio Code, this Python environment, as soon as you write initial view statement, it gives you some suggestions. So we'll use it directly rather than typing the whole thing. And here we can write 1 comma 2. Okay, we save it and we print C. Okay, so now let's check. Um, yeah, so it prints 3. So yeah, so this is how you can define a function. This is a very simple function, but you can define much elaborate forms of functions also. So yeah. Um, Now we'll look at how to use matrices, as it will be really useful uh, in this course, and we'll use how to use various operations in matrices using Python. So we'll make a new file and we'll name it matrix.py, and yeah, here it is. So the way Python, so Python does not inherently have a way to define matrices or use matrices, and so we'll have to import a library, and the way to import a library in a Python is import and the library's name. So the name of the library is numpy as np. So the Python allows us to give a different name to the py for that program, different name to the library that we are using, um, mm, using a, like this. So import numpy as np. So numpy can be a slightly longer name, so we can use it as np. You can type any other thing here. Generally, people call numpy as np, so we'll use that. Now, for some of you, numpy might not be installed in your laptop, so in your computer. So but you can. The way to install numpy is pip install numpy. For me, it is installed. So let's do the enter. So it will show requirement already satisfied. But for those who have not, who do not have a numpy installed, for them the numpy will get installed, and then you can use this library. Now let's define our first matrix. We'll define it a 2 cross 2 matrix. So we'll generally name the matrices variable in capital letters to signify that they are matrices. And the way we define matrices, np dot array, and 2 comma 4, let's say, and um, 4 comma minus 6. Let's say these are the elements of a matrix, and now we'll print this matrix. So print a comma a. All right. So now we'll run this file. So yeah. So this prints the file. Now let's look at how can we define a vector. So yeah. So how can we define a vector? So um, let's say B is a vector defined by np dot array, and it can simply be defined as 1 comma 2, let's say, or let's say 3 comma 4. All right, now let's print this vector as well. B comma B, and now let's print it. Let's clear it, print it. So this is how it is. Now let's say we want to multiply these two. So the way to multiply a matrix and a vector is given by, let's call it a new vector C. So because if you multiply a matrix with a 2 cross 1 vector, you'll get a vector. So A dot B. So if you define matrix A according to this np dot array, you can use this function dot with B. Now let's see what this. Let's see what comes out to be C. So C, yeah, C is 22 and minus 12. So this will be the result. 16 plus 6 is 22. 2 times 3 plus 4 times 4, and 4 times 3 plus minus 6 times 4. Yeah, so this will be the result. Now what we'll see is now let's see how to transpose a matrix. So let's print, let's write A transpose equals A dot transpose. Okay, and let's now print A transpose. Okay, so this will give us A transpose. Okay, so we didn't write um, we did not write the A transpose. So we did not write the name. So yeah, so A transpose will be okay. So A transpose is 2 4 4 minus 6. So the thing is, I'll just change the value because transpose is same as the A. So which is makes it symmetric matrix. I'll change A and then I'll write the results. So yeah, you can see that A is 2 3 4 minus 6 and this is 2 4 3 minus 6. So this is how transpose works. Now let's try to write what is inverse. So how do we write inverse? So A inverse. So the way you write inverse in matrix, so there is no function associated with A that you can find inverse. Way you write inverse is NP lin alg. So this is one of the classes in NP lin alg and inverse of A. So what this statement will do, will calculate the inverse of A and will save it in A inverse variable. Now let's print A inverse. A inverse A and B. Yeah, so it calculates the inverse and prints it. Now let's see how can we multiply two matrices. So for that we use one of the classes of numpy called matmul. So let's say A multiply by A inverse. So np dot matmul A inverse comma A, and we'll print, because we are multiplying A and A inverse, we should get identity matrix. So we'll just write this A. Okay, let's see what do we get. So yeah, so we get the identity matrix 1001. You can also directly define identity matrix. So inp dot identity and you can I mean, like identity, you have to give the dimensions of the identity matrix. So print identity the matrix uh, and comma I, and let's run it. So you can see identity matrix is 10. You can also change the dimension directly. So 3, if you make it 3, then it will give 3 cross 3 identity matrix, which is 100 0 0 1 0 and 1. So these are some matrix multiplication that will be really helpful when we are doing calculations in Python for robotics. So that's all for today in this lecture. We'll meet you in the next lecture. Thanks.